Good afternoon, this is Cliff Potts. As we are closing in on the one-year anniversary of the Occupy movement, I thought I'd kind of convey some of the ideas and impressions that I have picked up over the course of this past year. And those of you who do not know, I started with Occupy before Occupy started. I tend to brag about this a bit because I never thought it would last this long. But it was late June of 2011. It was before I even moved here. That friends of mine online through Twitter asked me to get involved with something called Occupy Wall Street. And I was there when the first GA went down. I don't remember where they had it. I didn't make notes because, like I said, I didn't think anything of it at the time. I just figured, it's just another... I figured it was just another protest. And, you know, most of 2011, I've been involved with a few of them. First through Move On, and then through SDS out of El Centro in Dallas, Texas. A wonderful, wonderful group of young men and women who really did care about what was happening in the world. And while some of them didn't quite know what to make of me hanging with them, they were all very cordial and very polite with me, you know. And over time, we did get to know each other rather well. But I came up here, back to Chicago, in after the May Day March in Dallas, and was pretty much willing to hang up my politicking, but that didn't happen. But a lot of this you already know, so. And I was asked to help move the information about Occupy Wall Street on Twitter, and I said, sure, why not? It literally was like that. Why not? What the hell? And here we are 1 year later, and it's still out there. The one thing that I will note about Occupy Wall Street is that for the most part, they really don't want input from gray hairs. That's the slang term used for the older generation. And on one hand, I agree with this. I do. But on the other hand, I find it absolutely annoying because, there is bigotry against older people in general, and specifically against older white males. I mean, the message of Occupy that's coming out of Occupy Chicago, at least, is that as an older white man, I, you, me, whatever, have lived a life of disproportionate privilege. Their model for this is quite obvious. Bill Gates is a white man. Warren Buffett is a white man. Bill Clinton's a white man. Therefore, all white men are suspect, and therefore are to be considered an enemy of the people. Am I exaggerating this? Only about that much. Do all the people in Occupy Chicago have that opinion? Not only no, but hell no. But it does exist. It does exist. I ran into it in July with, what happened? Okay, let me back up here. Starting off in about October of last year, because I was very active on Twitter. The account by the name is @CliffPotts, really original. And my secondary account is @CHI_ship, SHIP, also known as ShyShip. Those are my two accounts. Anyway, because I was so active and so much an enthusiastic supporter of the Occupy movement, I kept trying to get involved with the social media group. And I'd reach out to them, and nobody would get in contact with me. And in the first attempt to take the horse, I made a point of introducing myself to the person who was in charge of social media back then. And I told them that I was very interested in being involved in the social media group. And after that, nothing happened. So I kind of figured, well, they're a little disorganized, but I also wondered if it wasn't an age issue. It's never been verified to me that it is, by the way. People keep denying it, but it certainly smacks of it with what happened in July. Now, I'm not going to get into the name of the person that, or people, that pulled this crap off, because what happened is not so much personality as it is concept. There was one particular female that no matter what I said, she would find some reason to put it down. And she was not polite about it. Now, this is where let me stop here. Most of you who have had any introduction to psychology know Sigmund Freud. And you know this, Freud had this idea about women, and the reason they act the way they do, that he called penis envy. Now, in most, I don't mean all, but I'm not a psychologist, but in most contemporary discussions on psychology, penis envy is pretty much denounced as being antiquated and passé. And I agreed with that until I met this woman. Now, honestly, my opinion is that she is trying to do everything she can to prove that her dick, that she doesn't have, is bigger than every guy's dick out there. She prides herself on being a dick. And of course, because her dick is an imaginary dick, it obviously is bigger than everybody else's dick out there. And by God, she wants to prove it. Well, yes, she is a bigger dick than I am. Yes, she has a bigger dick than I do. And if that's what it takes for her to feel empowered, then by all means, let her feel that. Along with her was this short little shit with curly hair, again, not going to name names, who decided that he was going to get in my face because obviously, and he actually said this to me, by the way, anytime you disagree with a woman, you are being sexist! Literally. He also called me a misogynistic dick in a rant that he was having. I finally had to unfollow him on Twitter because he wouldn't stop dumping direct messages into my account telling me that we had to talk. Now, the reason I did this is because, as far as I'm concerned, we're not friends. I don't need friends who are so grossly disrespectful. Now, one of the people in Occupy Chicago confronted him about his behavior towards me, and I have to admit there was some support early on. But he said, "I'm just speaking truth to power." Evidently, in this little shit's mind, because I've been on this earth for going on 55 years now, that I'm somehow source power in the United States. Now, you can pretty much, the camera does its thing, you can pretty much see back here where I'm living. But I am a source of power in the United States. To me, the kid's got a Napoleonic complex. He's trying to prove that he's as rough and tough as all the big boys are. Now, him especially is an interesting case. I get the impression that he is the offspring of one percenters, and the only reason he's involved in the Occupy movement is because he wants to tell mommy and daddy to go fuck off. And that's one of the things I've seen in Occupy, especially in Occupy Chicago. There's a core of people who are very manipulative, that are not transparent, that are dealing in backdoor politics of the 1%, who are themselves the offspring of the 1%ers, who want to tell mommy and daddy to go fuck off. The problem is, and I'm all for this, don't get me wrong, I'm all for this. I mean, if that's the case, one, big number one, I'm not their daddy. Telling me to fuck off because they want to tell their mommy and daddy to fuck off doesn't work. Two, going out there romping and stomping and making noise, which needs to be made, while blocking any progress towards building community, is not an effective strategy. And three, they're doing a gross disservice to Occupy Chicago. Now, I want to get back to the girls' case. What really happened is that one of our own people, one of the Sweet Crew people, became homeless. And in the process of him becoming homeless, nobody was able to help him. And I was a little upset and put off by the fact that nobody would reach out and help this guy. And unfortunately, that's when the disagreements occurred. Because these types, the girl and the guy, do not want to hear anything critical from people like me. You know, I'm the guy who is right now, or at least I was up until last week, was supporting a family out of the single income that I have. A family that's not my own, a family that is, you know, friends with me, and I'm doing the right thing for them. But they don't want to hear that. Then I was accused of slandering the girl because I told her that she has more resources than she's willing to admit or willing to acknowledge. I mean, that she had resources that were backing her up and supporting her that she was not looking at. And many people do, by the way. This is not particularly a personal slight. And I was told while I was sitting in front of her that I was slandering her for this. And I was also told that I was a sexist because she knew things that I didn't know, and therefore I was having a problem with her as a person. She insisted on making this personal. Truth of the matter is, it wasn't personal back then. And while I'm still sitting there, she is talking about me as if I'm not there. I finally told them that they don't know me, they don't know what I've been through, they don't know how long I've been involved in this, and I can walk away from it anytime I want and go back to doing what I was doing, which is supporting the Occupy mission from here, from Twitter, from the web, as I was from June of 2011 till this very day. So after finally telling them they don't know me, and quite frankly don't give a flying fuck about me at all because I am a white male who has gray hair, and I should simply die and get out of their way to stop telling them that they are failing in their mission to help others or create community, because that's what they want. See, 1%ers don't give a damn about community, and too many of these people, the girl included, are all about replacing the 1% with their own egos. Now, after all this was said and done, I left the Occupy Chicago social media group, but that doesn't mean I've left Occupy. I believe in the mission. The mission is a better world is possible, but Occupy, as of yet, in this first year, hasn't really shown much in the way of that better world. Is it possible? Yes. Why do I know it's possible? History. We did have the progressive movement. Hull House was formed to help immigrants and women and children. We did have Martin Luther King. We did shut down the Vietnam War. There is a better world that is possible out there, and the people of Occupy can still make it happen. There's one more thing about the girl I need to say here. Within 2 weeks of denying that she had resources, she flew out to some kind of training camp that was going on the West Coast, spent a week there in training, and then flew back here to Chicago, where she is now being a social butterfly to every single one of the subgroups within Occupy Chicago. But it was slanderous of me to say she had resources that she wasn't admitting to. And what's so funny, because she is of the 30-something bracket, which, by the way, most occupiers are, it is sexist and racist of me to point out to you and the rest of the Occupy community what she's pulling off. And again, this isn't about her. This is about attitudes and truth and what is right. Now, to sit there and say, as a white male, I'm sexist by having an opposition to this, well, the person that she wanted to see homeless was a young black man. So if I'm sexist, that makes her a racist. You figure it out from there. Now, to the rest of the ladies on Occupy, I will say this. This is from Chris Rock. Nobody hates a black more than other blacks, and nobody hates a woman more than other women. So don't come jumping all over me for pointing out the inconsistencies in what was going on with these two. Now, the other thing too, I'm a male. I'm not ashamed of being a male, and I'm not ashamed of being a white male. I don't even think in those terms, but we won't go there. Occupy Chicago, at least the social media team, offended me greatly because they refused to deal honestly with the issue of this attack on me. That's fine. And yet, I'm still supporting Occupy Chicago. I'm still supporting the Occupy movement across the United States. I'm still telling you, you can get the job done. Why is that? It's simple. That's what guys do. That's maleness. We don't give a damn that the person we're dealing with is a dick. If they can do the damn job, that's what matters most of all. And that includes the woman, who I have been talking about, and the male counterpart. I don't have to like them to work with them. I don't have to like them at all. When she does work the Twitter stream, her information is invaluable. As far as the guy is concerned, he is a brave little man. And he is a hell of an activist. They both are. And to me, as a white male and an occupier, that is all that matters. So let's go from there and see if we can build community. This is Cliff Potts. Thank you very much for your time. Happy 1-year birthday, Occupy Wall Street. It's been a hell of a year. We've seen a lot. As always, may your God go with you. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye for now.